Welcome to Open Doors Media. You may not see me, but it's my pleasure to have the most wonderful people to discuss issues of Nigeria. And I'll just start from the lady. Lady Priscilla, we welcome you.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a pleasure to be here.
Next to her is the peacemaker, a prolific political commentator in London. You're welcome to the program. And of course, we have her, the Mr. Debo Adekwegba, who's just back from Nigeria, who'll be telling us things that are changing in the political scene. Debo, you're welcome to the program.
Happy Easter.
Last but not the least is our London social commentator, Mr. Nat Iyako. Nat, you're welcome to the program.
My last picture.
What Lord Temporal, nice having you. Now,
I so love that greeting that you guys. Very soon I'm going to join in.
You're welcome.
It's a wonderful situation in Nigeria right now. President-elect Buhari, we understand, is in Lagos campaigning and getting ready for the governorship election on Saturday. Now, the most topical point was the outburst of the Oba of Lagos, Oba Rilwanu Babatunde Aremu, who said that the Igbos should better vote for Ambode, otherwise he is vowing by his ancestors that they will be dead in 7 days if they should disobey him. And well, this was an outburst. Some have argued for and against. I don't know, you as representatives of Nigerians from various states, how do you respond to that? Debo, can I start from you?
Yeah, I would like to mention that congratulations to President-elect. We hope that this is a dawn of new beginnings and that he has made political promises, which we are hoping that we'll be able to read out to him whether he fails or he succeeds. Having said that, I think Oba Akinolu's remark is a bit confusing, a bit enlightening, and a bit of an insight into the thinking of the political class, as it were. In time past, you would hardly find an Oba turning up to come and threaten voters. But there's a new phenomenon in Nigeria called the smart card reader.
The smart card reader, tell us more.
That decides whether one person is elected and one person is not elected. The smart card reader has ensured that votes, even they can be bought, but the PVC cannot be bought. It has to be used as a polling booth that it has been allocated to by the person to whom it has been allocated. So you cannot mass.
So how do you now relate this with the outburst?
Yes, the related to the outburst, because it's a frustration, because if you look at the voting pattern at the last presidential election, you find that APC, so-called stronghold of Lagos, 24 House of Rep members, 6 were lost. None of them due to a little bit of godfatherism. I'm speaking specifically at the Mushin constituency, where you have an incumbent who did not win his primaries due to interference, and he decamped to Accord Party and he won the seat. And then you find 5 other seats being won in areas that is popularly dominated by the so-called non-indigenous. But I don't know, I'm trying to find out who is a real indigenous of Lagos. That's what I'm
well, let's leave that one.
That's where my own confusion. The reason why I'm not leaving it is that that's where my own confusion starts.
Okay.
Because the Oba in his outburst is mentioning about his ancestors, but he's also a Muslim. You know, there's a little bit of, and then how is he sure which sides his ancestors are on? Are they on the side of Agbaji or the side of Ambode? Well, he would say that because he's been chosen to be Oba of Lagos, he's representing their interest. But well, we know that this smart card reader has said otherwise, because there are some people who have come to say they were representing the interest of the Southwest people, i.e. Odua People's Congress. But apparently this smart card reader disagreed. So you now begin to see these things happening due to smart card reader. It's really a smart
So you
card reader.
cannot override the smart card reader.
Not that you cannot override it. It has a mind of its own. So there's a difficulty there. And then there's something called the smartphone as well, connected to the internet. For example, you take the votes in your polling booth and you Facebook it. And all your other colleagues as well, they Facebook it, and we all know the results even before. You know, INEC chairman doesn't have a smartphone anyway, so he didn't know the results. He had to wait for his reps.
Yes, yeah.
But we knew the result because we have smartphone.
You've been watching it.
No, we don't need to watch. All you just need to do is log on to Facebook. The result is there. Your colleagues all over the country have collated the results for you.
Yeah, but not official. Anyway. Let me ask DP Speaker. What's your take on this Oba Akiolu's outburst?
Yeah, for me, I'm not that surprised. Something that has been happening in Nigeria, even when you listen to Asari Tokubo before the presidential election. People like Asari Tokubo, they should have arrested people like that even before the election. Yeah, things like that. I'm not surprised. But for the PDP member now to be saying, oh, the Oba should have said something like that, it's not for the PDP to say that, because they were in position to say something like that, and they didn't say anything like that when people like Asari Tokubo and other people were saying things that they were not supposed to say.
But Asari Tokubo was not a king.
No, he was not. I know, I understand that.
Yeah, so it's the position they're holding.
Yeah, I know. But Asari Tokubo was saying all the Niger Delta people have to vote for the president. It's compulsory. He was saying, then he said that no single vote should go to APC president and
yeah, anybody could say that one, but when you now be a traditional ruler and given that respect, honor, and paid, that's the difference.
Yeah, you are very right. But at the same time, I think this would be an issue of another day. I have issue with all these traditional rulers because we pay them millions of nairas every month, and I don't know what that money is being used for. Each traditional ruler is paid 2 million naira every month.
Easy.
Every month.
That's official, plus unofficial bets.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Priscilla, what's your take on the outburst? I mean, someone said that this has been going on before now. It's only that now of social media days, you dare not do such things again. And in any case, we're reading the minds of the traditional rulers who said, I chose somebody. Is that how we do democracy, or how we've been doing it?
Well, I think that, as I've said before, the traditional ruler has every right to make a statement that he wants to make. But I think when we go so far as to threaten death, then I think at that point you've gone beyond, too far. And that is what I disapprove of, and I condemn. Yes, he, as a traditional ruler of Lagos, he can, we have to be mindful when we voice our opinion about choice. Our democracy is very, very delicate and is still very fragile and young. And as a result of that, we have to hold it quite literally like an egg at the moment so that we can sustain it, so that it gets to the point of survival. And at this minute, we're sitting on the keg of gunpowder, though I don't like using that term, but it is what it is. And it's very shaky. And so everybody in a responsible position has a duty, I think, owed to the people to ensure that they do not contribute to the fragile state of that democracy, to break it. They do not contribute to violence in our country. They do not contribute to heating up the polity. I think everybody should take responsibility for that. And so it doesn't, we're at the point now, I think, for me, my observation is that what transpired at the presidential level sort of drew a line and sort of introduced some kind of a new Nigeria. Where, violence is no longer welcomed.
Acceptable.
And it's not acceptable. And I thank God and I'm grateful for the era of social media that we're in today. Because what this is saying to all of us is that, hey, you cannot get away with this anymore. And we cannot continue to speak in this manner. We are brothers and sisters. We once lived together without questioning the fact that someone was Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. We just saw ourselves as Nigerians. We must look for a way of going back to that.
All right, thank you. Nat, what's the implication of Oba Akiolu concerning the delicate balance of different ethnic groupings in Lagos. What's the implication? Is it that Lagos is not that friendly, welcoming, or this is just the thinking of an individual?
Well, I think from that day that the Oba made such a statement, I'm not too sure if he was aware that it was being recorded. The day he made that statement, he has lost his entitlement of being a traditional ruler. He's now a politician. He's now an APC agent campaigning for.
I think that is fair enough.
Right?
That's what he did. Yeah.
So he's lost all the value, the respect that he was supposed to represent. And that institution that he was supposed to represent is no longer.
And Oba is called a father.
Yeah.
How can a father now say some of his children will die in the lagoon?
Just to finish what I was trying to say, now that he has taken a position, he should come out and join the campaign team. the remaining 3 days. Yeah, the remaining 3 days. He should face the campaign. And then the response from the APC and Lagos State government was not good enough. If he still wants to do another, he should be queried. He should explain why disciplinary action should not be taken against him. If he really,
the PDP has called for his suspension.
If he really thinks he has anything again to remain in that stool, to remain in that institution, to be called an Oba Akielu the second, or the first?
No, the second.
The second. So that's my take.
What it is that just to follow on from what Nat has been saying and what Priscilla has been saying. What it is that we are in a new dispensation, and
that's true.
They don't seem. It's like the political class are slow to quickly understand what it is that you cannot begin to make statements such as you make, to incite violence. I was reading this morning that the Inspector General of Police says that there's nothing to indict him with, that he has already denied the allegation. It's not somebody was caught in Tesco's, with things stuffed in his pocket. You can always deny it.
The video
will say otherwise.
He has not seen
incitement to violence. The incitement to violence is a crime. An international crime for that matter.
Yeah.
The violence, and my understanding of the law is that the violence does not necessarily need to occur before you can actually be indicted and be in prison. If the violence actually occurs, will now determine how long you will spend in jail.
Absolutely.
That you actually are indicted, that it's an indictable offense, incitement to violence. Because what it's basically saying is that if these people do not support or agree with my decision, then we should genocide, such as what happened in Rwanda.
Yeah, a few years ago. 800,000 of them died.
And it all started in like you said, that in little fire in the forest burns the whole bush down. Yeah,
but let's look at the other side. DP was telling us about how many people have made such statements in the past. I mean, taken from the end of 2011, we shall not make this governable, and they got away with it. And from that moment, Boko Haram,
it's just
too much.
It's just what we are saying, that the political elite, for example, like what Nat said, the APC were extremely slow to react. That was why I said that it gives us a little bit of an insight into what is happening with the APC. They were extremely, in fact, they were so slow. This Tinubu could have actually made that statement himself.
No, but do you know the position of Tinubu? Tinubu came out yesterday to say that it was the fault of the Igbos. That Uba was a PDP man, and he went to the KBC to go and make certain statements that the KBC reacted against, that it was the fault of the Igbos. They should have gone to the politicians. Why go to the KBC? And that was the argument of Tinubu.
But then, the APC, if we look at their existence in the last 1 year, if we look at it carefully, their utterances have not been the most palatable. They have, over a period of time, and more than one of their very senior members have said things like, "Oh, we will form a parallel government."
That's correct.
They've not exactly spoken in the line of peace. They've not exactly also encouraged the fairness of democracy, as it were. If we look at them carefully, They've not done that. They equally have also contributed, and that's probably why they were slow to react, because their mindset is, you know, somewhat in agreement with what the Oba has said. It favors them. So, you know, the Oba has said if you don't vote Ambode, then, you know.
Now let's zero into Lagos on Saturday. DPs, what do you think will happen? Would you think the area boys will cause commotion?
Yeah, I don't think there will be too much commotion. That's why we have to thank our outgoing president, Goodluck Jonathan, with what he did. Because if not for that, if he had listened to people like Orubeges of Nigeria, of PDP, we could have been discussing something different this time around. Yeah, we have to thank him for that. At the same time, I think that has to affect the outcome of this election. I don't think there will be that much.
Debo, you just returned from Lagos. I don't know much of this area, but if they say no, there means me. There no means no in Lagos.
But you see, what it is that, you know, it's so beautiful. I like politics now. The reason why I said this is that nobody has a monopoly of violence. PDP is not an Igbo thing, and it's not a Yoruba thing, or APC is not a Yoruba thing or an Igbo thing. Yeah, the politics right now is a Nigerian thing. PDP who told you that there's no Igbo area board? When anytime we have a business in Nigeria and around that Masha Kilo, where you have Igbo people who are more dominant in that area, they are the ones that turn up when the container turns up. They are the ones that turn up to want to collect
their title.
Their title. They are not Yoruba boys. They are boys. They speak both Yoruba and they speak English at the same time.
Speak Igbo.
Yes, they speak Igbo, they speak English.
Yes.
They don't know Onishas, where they come from. They don't know.
Okay, I'll come back to you in a second. Nat, do you expect a peaceful election in Lagos?
No, not in Lagos. The scenario is this. Debo started on it. The extension is that the OPC or the area boys, they are in camps.
Yes, okay,
exactly.
Yeah, and someone has told us that the area boys are Igbos. In fact, you know some. Yeah. So, and I'm sure that area boys who are not Igbos. So you are not fighting for Sean of the Shoya.
Now, having said that, looking at the last the presidential election, the PDP has 200,000 votes to upturn the APC. Let's just zoom into the governorship election now. Do you think that will happen? Do you think?
I don't see how. For me, I think that election in Lagos, I make bold to say it's advantageous to lose. What has happened in Lagos, where if the gap was wide, like how it used to be in Kano, how it was in Kano, how it was in Rivers, how it was.
But 200,000 is not
200 if the distance, like for example, APC had about 800,000 votes, PDP had about 600,000.
Oh yeah.
That's about 200,000.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Yeah, the reason is that people in Lagos, this is my own opinion now. People in Lagos wanted a change at the federal level.
Yes, fair enough.
People in Lagos also want a change at the state level. Now, people were not sure as to if my vote would really count for me to be able to exercise my opinion. And we have seen it that people were allowed to exercise their opinion around that area, around the area where you have a lot of Igbo people residing, Amu Odofin, Ikatesuru, all those areas. You know, there's no. If we look at the political landscape of Lagos, there was no time an indigene, even a so-called non-indigene, as you say we are all not non-indigenous in Lagos, a so-called non-indigene will actually win not only a seat, but actually a federal seat in Lagos. It didn't happen. So in my own, I make bold to say that if Agbaje loses this governorship election, I think we should probably be looking into that result more closely.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah. actually is campaigning in favor of PDP.
Inadvertently.
Yes.
He started off speaking
Yeah.
for him,
Yeah.
and then he rested on people.
Yeah. So the
Okay,
people
okay,
have voted.
okay.
So go out now.
Let's go a step higher. State Assembly in Lagos. How do you think it will look like?
Definitely, it will not be business as usual. I'm extremely confident about that. Even if
I agree with that.
even if Ambode edges it definitely out of, I think it's about 24 members.
Yeah, something like
It's
that.
going to probably be split down the middle. It's
I
not going to be
think,
business as
from
usual.
what we've seen, and I'm just going to go back slightly to the initial question. Lagos registered the highest number of registered voters and had the lowest turnout.
Yes.
In comparison. And there are a lot of reports where I have spoken to individuals that said, I had my PVC, I was ready, I didn't get to vote. And I think
They can do the same thing.
No,
this time around.
I will answer that question for you because I was on ground. That election, they actually moved around in my area on foot. And I spoke to quite a few people. A lot of people, even after the election, the day after the election, that was the day I actually returned to the country, the streets were clean. The streets were clean for a week. The reason is that people were not sure whether there was going to be violence and people wanted to be safe. I think now that they've known that this can actually happen, I think the turnout will be a lot higher.
I was coming to that having seen what we have seen, because I'm not sure that the wishes of Lagosians were communicated during this election. I'm not sure that the Lagosians got to say what they really wanted to say with their votes. So I think that with all that is said and done, Lagos strikes me as a state that may be the revenge state more than any other state, in the sense that I think, like you said, people are going to come out more, and now they are going to want to ensure that their vote counted, and that they registered, they turned up, and they made it count. And we're probably going to go back to the scenes that we saw in 2011, where people were queuing up and waiting for their votes to be counted before they left. We're probably going to see that more now than what we did.
I think Lagos is a state to watch.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on now because of time. How many PDP senators do we have? How many APC senators? Obviously, PDP has lost majority in the Senate and in the House of Reps, but APC has not received 2/3 majority of her
60
out of 109.
out of 109.
So
49 PDP out of 109.
And no other party
No other party this
in
time
the Senate. So what would be the 66 2/3? That will have been something like 70 states, 70 senators, but they didn't have 70 senators. So they don't have 66 2/3. You can change any law. You can change, but it has not happened. In the House of Representatives, there are 360 seats. APC had 214 and PDP 108, 124, and then
25.
125, okay, 125, and then other parties, they had ordinary 11, is it, waiting for another 10, or they have 10, they're waiting for another 11.
Results from 11, which they are speculating might go to PDP.
No, APC is going to over because they are in Jigawa. So how do you think the Congress, the National Assembly will look like in terms of discussion and power?
This is what we have been praying for. For example, APC does not have ultimate majority in the Senate. Well,
you mean 2/3 majority?
Yeah, they don't. That's why I said ultimate majority.
Okay.
You know, ultimate that 2/3 majority. We can do whatever we want. If you guys don't like it,
You can overrule.
pack your bags and move on. But now,
but they can always win ordinary laws. You know, ordinary.
Yes, where the law requires or where the rules require
50% plus.
A simple majority.
Then
that's fine. But where the rules require 2/3 majority, not that they will not achieve it. I would think that some people within the PDP might want to side with the government.
No, that's a different thing.
Yeah, but what it is that I think this is the kind of thing that we have been praying for. This is what obtains in democracy, the so-called mature democracy, where one party does not have ultimate majority, whereby they can do whatever they want to do. So, in my own opinion, I think it's further adds to the so-called dawn of a new beginning, a new understanding of politics within the Nigerian setting.
Some people said that Gbajabiamila may be the next speaker, because he's been the leader of opposition, minority leader in the House of Reps for the past many years, and that it is just right for him to become the speaker for all what he has done for APC. But I can't see how the vice president will come from Southwest and the speaker will come from the Southwest. Yes, but Gbajabiamila might have been working well for APC, but will he be now taking a speaker?
But it has just happened in this current dispensation.
How the president?
The vice president is from Northwest,
And
the speaker
Northwest.
Northwest.
So
it can happen.
It can happen.
Then where is the balancing?
thing again,
Then where is the balancing?
But what is the-
Then where is the balancing we're talking about?
Yeah,
Why
but
the
what-
Yorubas were shouting? So should we allow South and something to
No,
shout?
yeah, but what is this issue of balancing? One person has to be Igbo, one person has to be from the north, another one has to be from the south.
Are we just starting? But Buhari is there because they believe that the northerner should be a president. So balancing is good for the northerner. Balancing is not good for the southeastern.
No. Let me. In my own opinion,
Yes.
this is what I thought transpired in this election.
Yes.
People wanted change, full stop. If you
No, we're not arguing at that one. That one is not under argument.
Yeah, the
We're
reason,
not talking of moving forward.
the reason why I said that people want change, full stop, is that I do not believe, and this is my own candid opinion, that the ethnicity of Buhari was considered first before they believe that he's going to come into that position and perform.
Why did they bring a southerner to become their presidential candidate?
It's all the
That was the political class. He's talking more of the people.
the people
Did
that
not
actually
consider.
the
Yeah.
people
But
that
why did they
actually-
not bring a Muslim ticket?
But
That
you
is-
know,
that
You
is-
see, that's what I'm saying, that there was balancing.
That still begins to flow into what we are saying about people being able to make their choices. All these issues, see, and Dr. Johnson, I will move with you for a while. You will agree with me on this.
Yeah.
It is when the politicians have lost at that one level that they come down to our level and start saying, "Oh, I was treated like that because of my ethnic background.
Yeah.
I was treated like that because of
Religious background.
because of religious background." He will never say that he was treated the way he was treated because number one is either his loyalty was called into question, he compromised issues, and basically he was useless to the group. He would not come out and say those things.
but that would be a new thing in this where we're at
Dispensation.
now. But you know, just going back to the issue of APC having 60 and PDP having 49. You know, as much as I salute and welcome it, I am disappointed because we don't have the kind of lawmakers that are actually going to ensure that they're not people who actually stand for what they believe in. This is not about fighting.
In fact, I'm scared that some of the 49 PDP
Yes,
may
we
come to
become,
APC
you know,
in case so that they can, if we are told, if they're looking for a particular contract, they're looking for a particular favor.
This is
They say go and become, and then we go and become.
And
Yes.
what is on ground now is to pressurize some of the PDP senators to become to APC.
Look at that.
That is one. Two, the other extreme is that, like it happened in the seventh National Assembly. If they are a little bit independent, they will decide on their own and not even the party. Tumbual got this thing,
Yeah,
which was contrary to what the party wanted.
that's true.
I foresee this eight National Assembly trying to catch up with some of their independence.
Okay.
But the other problem is that we are bringing in greenhorn senators.
Yeah,
Some of them are I think between they say
79 senators.
80 or so are greenhorns that
79.
come step into that red chambers for the first time.
Yeah.
The quality of contribution on the floor may be low.
Yeah.
Okay, if I can make a small contribution to that,
Yeah,
you know, we can sit here and discuss all about this 60%, 49%, they will decamp, they won't decamp, you know, but I think in 4 years, we will be coming out with our PVCs to
Yeah, but
decide.
4 years is a long time.
Yeah, but what it is
The definition
For a nation,
what-
4 years is
No, you see, in the previous dispensation, yeah, there was no hope. There was never a time that you can call the political
No, there
class.
was, and there still is. There is something called the power
Recall.
of recall.
Yes.
It's actually in the constitution
Yes.
that
Yes.
belongs
Yes,
to.
the power, yes,
you
there was
see,
the
you see,
power.
let me tell you, the most important job that the Nigerian public has now to do is to demand for their constitution to be justiciable. What do I mean by that? So that they can get the benefits, because the law that they have in the constitution for you and for I and for them, actually, it offers us a great deal of benefit. But on the other hand, we cannot actually take it to court and win. You know why? Because there's another section of the constitution that doesn't permit for that to happen. So it's not justiciable. You can't take it to court and it gets established. So we need to demand, not like the other change that was made, because that change that was made in 2013 was just to suit them. So now the public has to get involved and demand that, hey, we want this to work. Because Section 60, bear with me a second, Section 68(1)(g) makes it clear that if you actually decamp from one party to the other, you should lose that seat. Who respects it? Nobody. Because there's also another part of that constitution that permits the decamp. If you have a problem, crisis, and they're able to, then you know how we reason. We don't reason logically along logical lines. No, we will reason it to suit ourselves. So we need to, the biggest thing we need to do now as a people is our constitution needs to make sense, and we need to have institutions that will respect the rule of law.
What I wanted to say here is that whereas previously the voting public felt they didn't have the power to bring about these corrections. Yes, everything is in the constitution. The constitution, according to how I understand it, appears to have taken care of everything, and things are actually quite explicit. They're not complicated. They're things that are easily understandable to reasonable people. But apparently, that's another story for another day. But what I'm saying is this. Yes, we are saying 4 years is a long time. But 4 years will always come a day of reckoning. And there will be reckoning. It used to be such that politicians did anything that they wanted to do, and they felt that when they come to their voting time, they would just rig themselves back into power. For example, I take this situation in that my constituency in Lagos as a case study. I'm probably going to be writing a book on it, because the way I'm going about this man, Dauda Kaku-Are, he was in APC, and he did a lot for that community. He sang boreholes. He provided vehicles to take people who wanted to go to for different celebrations, Christian, Muslim celebrations. He provided vehicles to take them to their hometowns. Children who were closing schools or were going to school, they met at a point. Buses came and took them to school, and then he partnered with social groups within the community to actually begin to impact the life of the community. Now, if that came to the point, he lost primaries in APC. Due to the chairman of the local council, and the people said, "Hey, what's happening here? No, this is who we want." No, but the APC party will not agree, so he decamped to Accord Party, and he won the seat by more than Buhari's margin. It was a landslide. People came and
fought for him.
Yes, and no, they made a statement. They delivered a message that no, this is who we want. That's why I'm saying that the issues of is done by them. But
I must say that while this is commendable, that's how it should be. I'm not that optimistic. In 4 years, the APC, they use their power, that federal power, that this PVC card is so trusted. By the time they have twisted things, because we work with power. I work in power. They can twist things that you will just be the system that you think has worked. If this system has really worked, then they can twist it.
We as Nigerians have a lot of work to do.
They can twist it
because this election is a little bit free and fair.
Yeah.
Because the system we are using now, PVC, is new. Because once they get used to the system, they don't have to manipulate it.
Yes. See, that was. I'd like to put it towards that. That was what the PDP thought. You see, the politics, and we should not remove the issue of spirituality in this matter. You cannot dribble such that you will now dribble God, and God's hands will be tied. I am very confident that there's a process that has begun, and that process has not even come to fruition. It's just the beginning. It's going to, because
we work with politicians as we're discussing here, they're discussing how to run things.
If something
I understand where he's coming from. I understand the point he's making, because right now every Nigerian you speak to believes that they have done something.
Exactly.
Even though when you get to the nitty-gritty of it, actually they did nothing. In effect. But the feel-good factor is that we will vote them out, which makes everybody feel good, and then it encourages involvement. Now they need to take it to another step better to ensure that they monitor what is happening henceforth and be more involved.
Exactly, because what it is that people now are being, whereas we talk about
they believe they have the power.
Whereas we talk about people not being educated in terms of the political process and things like that, not getting involved. But this process has taught people a lesson. It's like when you open the so-called Pandora box, the kind of things that starts flying out of it. You know, people are beginning to have an understanding and say, look, excuse me, wait here. We want this person. And we know who we have voted for. We know who we are voting for. So if there's any manipulations that the politicians want to do, they can go ahead and do it. But if it doesn't conform, it got to a point where people brought out their phones and they were listening to the INEC chairman. No, they were looking, they brought their phone and they were looking, they saw the results.
Okay, all right. Okay, Nat.
The so-called, the smart card was not smart enough to read some PVCs. Right? So
2 zones.
Yeah, 2 zones. Not west, southeast, south.
Can I make a slight correction to that?
Yes.
Not that the PVC did not, I mean the smart card reader did not read the PVC. It did not read the fingerprint.
Okay. Well, it's
the same thing.
No,
the biometric is on the card.
No. Let me clarify.
Yeah,
it is not the same thing. This is it. The PVC works sort of like your POS machine. You put in your card, and then you put in the amount, and then it tells you to put in your PIN. So it's at that point in time, instead of your PIN, you now put fingerprint, and then it will. But the first thing first is that card reader must accept your PVC. If it doesn't accept your PVC, it will never go to the next stage.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Let's, because of time, we want to look at this governorship election coming. Let's start from Lagos. Let's just try and predict. What do you think in Lagos? We have to be fast about this because we have 36 days to go. What do you think in Lagos? Who is likely to make it?
PDP.
Will that be your position?
That will be my position with a caveat, and the caveat is that except APC decides to form in trouble, I don't see 200,000, like what Priscilla said. 5 million people registered voters. Almost 5 million also picked up their PVCs. People would have come out en masse to vote for Buhari.
With the way you know the area boys are Tinubu very close. Do you think?
Area boys only go with where the money is. They don't flow. Area boys don't flow with sentiments.
Okay, Lagos.
Yeah, when I was sentiment is money.
I was sentiment. You have to pay for the sentiment.
I happened to be in Lagos with Mr. Otumba when
he was in Nigeria.
But when I was in Lagos, the people of Lagosians were happy with the APC.
Yeah.
I don't know if anything has changed now, but with what was happening then, because of their road construction and things like that.
That's important. But my brethren believe that
the APC that you probably would have made that are saying that we are glad about the road construction are people who are in the sort of like city center, so to speak.
So those who are close to Fashola.
Yes, but people who are in Ekpe, Ikorodu,
Badagry, or Joe,
they will speak a little bit differently.
Okay, Priscilla, with what has happened in Lagos in the last 1 week, you still give it to APC?
Nah, you see, Doc, I have a different opinion. I have a different desire, a different observation, which I think would be great for Nigerian politics. I think it's an opportunity for PDP, actually, to, they should just collect Lagos, River State, and they're South states and the Southeast state. You know why? Because it still gives them a power base.
Exactly.
Now the country is run mainly on the finances that comes from these places, Lagos and River State especially. They lead the way, and Akwa Ibom. Now, if PDP was able to, if they were smart enough to work out, let's maintain our power base along these corridors.
Yeah.
They then become a force to be reckoned with at the federal level.
That's correct.
It
That's
means
very
that federal level cannot do
Because that's your
anything,
bread basket.
because this is where the money comes from. So what it simply says is that let's all sit down and let's see how we're going to work this out very nicely,
Otherwise,
so that nobody gets hurt.
that makes sense. That makes sense. That really makes sense.
Let's
You see
come
where
to
I'm
an
coming
agreement.
from?
That really makes sense. Look, the whole of North has nothing to offer.
Well, they have, but they've not harnessed it.
Oh well, they say the same thing.
Yeah, they
My
have
father
not
has
harnessed
business,
it.
but I'm not working there.
No,
Anyway,
But
no. Let's quickly move a bit. Edo, I know there's no election coming up, but if the governorship of Edo has been on tray right now, you
Well,
think
I don't
Oshiomhole?
think
PDP will carry it.
I would have thought the House of Reps the election for the House of Reps would come up as well.
You mean state assembly?
Yes, state
Yeah.
assembly.
You think Oshiomhole will not have gone?
We will have gone.
He will have gone in the
I-
present
I-
dispensation.
I don't yes, because what it is now is there's a wind that is blowing, and I think that wind in that Edo would probably be a PDP wind.
It will have
It was a
removed.
PDP win already.
Yeah, it will have
That blew
removed
the first time.
Oshiomhole, but thank God for his life. State assembly, you think he's going to lose state assembly?
The probability it will be split.
Okay, let's quickly move to Ekiti State, where there is a trouble.
I think it's PDP. There's no question.
Yeah,
about
but do
it.
you think they're going to impeach him? They're going to impeach Fayose
It will
before?
make a lot of noise, but it won't work.
I really don't want trouble in Ekiti State because it will spread all over Yoruba land, and then once it's transferred in Yoruba land, it may reach Lagos, and I don't think Buhari will let me
I
that
think it would be nice for Kitty to borrow a leaf out of President Goodluck Jonathan's book. I
Yeah.
think they should try and do that. Let
No,
bygones be
yeah, but
bygones.
the problem is not Fayose, the problem is APC.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Borrow
but
a
they
leaf.
lost the election fair and square.
I mean, they
lost
lost-
opinion.
Then
They came
They don't accept it.
Yeah, because they came up with all these video recordings, the marshal did and all that. So, but
the people,
but the presidential election,
they lost again in every local
Well,
government.
that's
That's
why
why I'm
that
saying that they should borrow a leaf
yeah,
from
and she
President
just
Goodluck's
was
book and just
wait for the
move
next
forward.
time we bring out our
Fayose
PPC.
himself have said you have to impeach God before you impeach
Oh
him.
no!
You know what that statement? Yes. You have to impeach
Okay,
him.
let's quickly go to Ondo.
Impeachable.
Ondo State is another interesting state.
It's a mixed bag.
Now, if Mimiko should have been his seat is on trial, do you think he will have made it?
No.
We
Because
lost.
He would have
have
gone.
lost. Yeah, the reason being that people are because on those states they prided themselves from being different.
Yeah.
You know, we are
But
Labour
now
Party,
you went to
we are
join.
who we are. We don't flow with the flow and all that. So I think, and from what I know about Ondo people, they are extremely proud people.
Yeah.
You know, so they maintain that this thing. So for Mimiko, they think if they wanted PDP, I think the message that they are sending to Mimiko is that if we wanted to be PDP, we would have been PDP. You wouldn't be governor because you are governor on Labour Party. Labour Party.
But he was being isolated. That's the problem. He was being isolated. And when you are isolated in politics, it's dangerous for you.
No, really.
So he was isolated as a Labour Party governor, let's be honest.
No, but where did he lose it? He wasn't so isolated. As much as he was also very powerful. He had the backing of his people. He was
Backing of the president.
he had the backing of the Ondo people, did he not? He had their support, their respect, and their followership. He also had a lot of reverence from the international community, UN included. He was awarded for all the great work he was doing. So I think this is where we tend to lose it so much, is that we do not define.
No, he was pressurized. He was pressurized to join PDP, and he joined them because they were giving him the federal backing and maybe
Why
the
did he
federal
need
money.
federal backing again around 2? He didn't need it.
The problem with Ondo State is very good classical problem. You're either building institutions or you're building individuals. In Ondo State was the individual, Mimiko, the Iroko. That was all.
Okay.
So move him out.
But don't you think Obiano in Anambra is having the same problem? He's the only state governor that is not in PDP or APC.
No, it's not Obiano as such. It was Peter Obi.
Obi, yes.
Yeah, no, Obiano is the present
But it's Obi.
governor.
Yeah, but what it is
So but it's the only governor that is not. So he will be feeling it, and it
no,
be between you and
I don't think so. It's a question. It's a question of managing the pressures around you. Now everybody knew that Peter Obi was a stooge of the PDP, but he remained in Abga because the people just wanted to be different.
Obiano is still in Abga.
Yeah, but it's PDP.
Okay. From Anambra, let's go to Imo. Who do you think will be winning in Imo? Ikedi or Hadi Akim or Rocha Okorocha?
I think Rochas has the pulse of Imo State, in my own opinion. It's just that people were not feeling APC for the presidency. They were still a Jonathan kind of.
I would like to share your optimism, but I don't think Rocha will make it.
I don't think Rocha.
The Imo people are very proud and they want their thing for themselves. But then it's good if you look at 132,000 he scored for presidential as against 600,000. But like you rightly said, for Imo State it may be closer than that.
But I think that in Imo State, he himself, I think to some extent, he hasn't helped himself. They've not spoken very kindly of him.
Yeah, he's been on and off.
Southeast as a geopolitical zone have said no to APC.
Yeah.
Ngige, for Ngige to lose his election,
being
a senatorial incumbent, the person defeated him is a woman from House of Reps.
Yes! That's a blessing.
And Igbo said APC has no ground. So I can't see how Okorocha is going to survive.
I think Obakiolu has made him to lose. No. Because if you are supporting APC and then they humiliated Igbo in Lagos like that, the Igbo in Imo will say no to it. These people who humiliated us in Lagos will now humiliate us in our own home. Yeah. I think Akiolu has something to answer for it. Well, it looks like the whole of South and South is going to be PDP. Is there any upturn in the north? It looks like there's a tsunami wave of APC right from Kwara.
PDP may win Nasarawa State.
May?
Yes.
Adamawa, no Uribadu, man for righteousness, for innocence.
I think in the north,
PDP.
I think in the north, they're wearing the cloak of APC, but we know that they were all PDP, governors.
Come on, make it clear.
So I think that yes, since we have no control about cross-carpeting, they will, just go with the flow now and win it. And I think they will go back because, the Northerners have always been predominantly PDP. So, and they've never really accepted the CPC thing. And I think that they will still see the APC thing more like a Yoruba party being ruled by one man. So I think they would rather want to come back to the PDP machinery because at least over there, they were not being controlled by one man per se. But then there was this rotation. There was the federal character. There is this, they know that turn by turn, at some point, somebody's going to get something. So I think for now, they will wear the cloak of APC, that's okay. And then when we're done on Saturday, everybody knows where they're at.
Do you think it might lead to a new party for the North? Now they've seen that they have a political power to oppress the South, both South, Southeast, and Southwest. The kind of solidarity they showed right across the Niger River up, in fact, from Kwara upward, they own the place. Now, will there be an opening of their eyes? Wait a minute, we rule in this country numerically. Will it open their eyes?
What's going to happen in the North, I'm speaking for the North Central Zone or the Middle Belt? PDP is going to reinvent itself. 3 years, 4 years into APC government, that those of them who left PDP to APC will come back before 2019 for elections.
But PDP will appear to everyone to be a South and Southeast party. As of now, there is no argument about that. So why would I want to join the South
I don't.
More people like Mwazu, you really don't know where they are.
No, I think I would not agree to that. And the reason why is because PDP has been in power for 16 years.
Yes.
And it has been able to develop into this national partyism.
Yeah.
Yes, Jonathan was president for about 6 years. But prior to that, there was Yaradua, there was Obasanjo. So
all those people have left Obasanjo, IBB. They left the party.
No, but the
party is on its own in South and South.
PDP
missed the opportunity that they had. They didn't use it well. Yeah.
So but what I'm saying is this: is that this governorship election, like what Priscilla said, is going to sort of define where PDP goes from there. But that it will now be seen as a sectional party, I really do not.
I don't agree with you, Debo. 100% I disagree. The reason is that PDP is not in the north as we're talking. I mean, politically,
Sir,
they are not there.
But that is
Tell me, okay, who's going to be the PDP leader in the north?
no, that is what.
Let me just remind us of something.
Okay, Priscilla.
Let's remind ourselves of something. You know, when we're talking about Northerners, it's not about party for them. It's about power.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it begins and ends. It's about having that power.
Mm.
And like I said earlier, I don't think that they feel they have the power if they remain within APC. Because, you know, from how Kwankwaso described it, is a one-man band that he believes that one is like a company of that one man is leading.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, the rest of us are just there as though we're working for him. They will not, they do not. But for now, where the power is concerned, they will seek to attain that, to achieve that. But they do not intend to continue to be subservient to.
Do you think the APC North, as they have voted, can now think and set up a party of their own that will look like the old Northern People's Congress?
You see, the thing about Northerners is that they're quite smart in the way they operate.
Yeah.
They know fully well that they're not going to attempt to stand on their own against the rest of Nigeria. They will not attempt to do that. They're quite happy to work with somebody else to attain what they want. What they will not tell you in the process of that is exactly what they want. They will make it seem as though, yes, we're on the same side.
Mm-hmm.
But when the day comes, is when you will realize what they were.
Yeah, but don't you think the Southwest governors, their eyes will open along with Tinubu and say, look, you cannot oppress us?
Just, you know, I just began to think when you started going through this analysis now, at the so-called, first of all, the Nigerian Governors Forum issue, where 16 was greater than 19.
Mm.
Okay, and the people who came out supporting Amici in the first instance, quite a few of them were from the north. And then when it now whittled down to the group of 7, quite a few of them were still in the north. But when it came to the nitty-gritty, it became almost a group of 3 or a group of 4, because people started, you know, rebalancing that. How would it pan out for me in the end? Of course, some people have come to say that Babangida Aliyu made a mistake and Sule Lamido made a mistake, that Sule Lamido, they should have moved to APC as well. But I think they sat back and said, hey, you know, excuse me, if I could move to APC, what would that have for me? You understand? But maybe like what you said, maybe they should have gone with the wind. And but then when the dust is settled, they now come out with their shell. I think they came out with their shell just too quickly.
At that time, it was too dangerous to do that. It was too uncertain.
And besides, you really don't know how much Sule Lamido and Babangida Aliyu gained from the election pots of money.
Yes.
You really don't know, to say, look, we are your face here. Meanwhile, they were lying to
That's
him.
exactly exactly what we are saying.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to the real issue, especially with the Northerners, it's like, which one would be of more benefit to
me? That is a me issue.
One of the reports out at the moment is that there was something like 500 million. You remember that they raised in billions for the
yes.
And there was something like 500 million that the governors were supposed to, campaign money, that was supposed to
and it didn't disappear. So.
And it didn't, most of it did not get to the point it was supposed to get to. And the issue now is, what did they do with it? Where did it end up?
And you can't fight anybody. You can't take anybody to court. Okay, all right. We just have very few more minutes. Let's just take the country at random right now. So, Nat, your final take. What do you think is going to happen to our politics after May 29, when they will have sworn in? What do you think?
There's going to be a lot of what we call realignments. Mm-hmm. Based on what happened on March 28. That wasn't the final result.
So realignment, sure.
The final result is going to come in the next 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Sure.
So we may not see PDP as it is now, and the APC as it is now. Table, what's your last take concerning this realignment or non-alignment?
What Nat said is that this is a new phenomenon that has hit the political class. and until there's a settling in the sense that people who decided to join the APC, join the so-called bandwagon, will they eventually get what they wanted, or would they be hitting a roadblock such that they felt that, look, I think this is a misadventure, let me go back to where I'm coming from, or would it benefit them and say, yeah, that's fine,
it's not bad. But I'm going to ask you before I leave you. Southwest is the most divided of all the geopolitical zones. All the other geopolitical zones, they are together in the way they have voted. The South, South, Southeast, the new, everyone knows where they are. The North, all the North put together, everyone knows where they are. They have voted, they have been. But Southwest is where everything has been split down the line. What effect do you think that will have?
No, the effect it has is that it just shows that the Southwest people are quite flexible. Give them a good idea and they will run with you. Okay. That's what they have. They are not easily swayed by sentiments. And over the years, you know, we can go back right down to.
Does that make them the most politically outstanding, or?
I would say yes. I think the Southwest are politically mature. I would say
because they're the ones who have been divided most.
Yes, because, for example, in the days of MPN, UPN did not really have that sort of clout and monopoly. In Oyo State, it was flippant. Today is MPN, tomorrow is UPN. The same thing it happened in the old Kwara State as well. Today is UPN. Of course, we do know that the people who had influences in those states, like Ademade Dibu and Olusola Saraki and all the rest of it, they could have, you know, they swayed. But it's still there. But if you look at it, it goes on Akintola era and all the rest of it, such that the Southwest geopolitical zone are people who are flexible. They are open-minded. Talk to me, I'm ready to listen. And my decisions may not be based on sentiment.
Okay, the peacemaker, you are the peacemaker. What's your last thing?
Yeah, I think that with what you said earlier, that if our new president, Buhari, really continue to be a man that he said he is, a man of discipline, incorruptible man, a lot of the people that are supporting him might even try to move to another party like PDP or something like that and be against him. Somebody like you might find people like, or if not, if you try to work according to his supporter, you might see people like Aliko Dangote coming into PDP because he was the person that was supporting, coming into the APC, because was the person that was supporting PDP financially. Yeah.
Supposing, I'm going to ask you this question. Supposing Buhari, an incorruptible man who is ready to work for Nigeria, he has an opposition from some APC gurus who paid for his private jets to campaign, and they said, look, we have to put the money back. And the man said, we cannot steal. This is not a dispensation to steal. What do you think that will?
I think that's going to be his greatest challenge, but all we want from him is for him to stand and represent the people.
Can you overcome that challenge?
He can, because the country, because we already know the path that he's trying to take.
Then he must look for money to campaign in 2019.
If he wants to leave a legacy for himself, it shouldn't be after coming back. It should be after living a life of significance, a life of.
Well, it's to continue, isn't it? Okay,
that is the side side of it. That is the sad side of it. I don't know why people put politics or the time they will be power more than making impact.
Yeah, you are thinking for the masses. They don't think for the masses. Yes, Priscilla, your last thing.
I think it's a great opportunity for democracy and for the people of Nigeria. I think it's an opportunity for, you know, I love the awakening that is going on. I think it's fantastic, and may the awakening continue.
Yeah,
I think that, you know, it's very important that everybody, as awakened, continues to enlighten those who have not woken up yet to get involved. Because previously, our main problem was we were never involved in the process of democracy. But now we seem to be, and we believe that we can do something. So we should utilize that and ensure that we call for what is right and proper. Because for the moment, what I'm still seeing is that people are still reasoning along those lines of my stomach first, what am I going to get? And a lot of the push for change at the moment is not necessarily a push for nation building change, but a push for change so that I can have a contract.
Did APC really spend money?
Yeah, it spent millions and billions. But having said that, it is an opportunity, as I said, for democracy to thrive. It is an opportunity for us to develop a real two-party state that can stand strong and ensure that the tenets of democracy is rife and valid for the people, and that the people get to enjoy it. And so without everybody being involved, we're not going to get that. And the one thing we should push for is that our constitution should be made useful.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, we'll be discussing about how Buhari will handle the confab report that APC did not take part, but all the APC governors took part in it, and we want to see if this will be implemented by the Buhari administration, and if not, what will Afenifere and the rest of the Yoruba Southwest will do about it. Priscilla, I must thank you for opening our eyes to the breadbasket of Nigeria that is being held on to by South-South and Southeast in their voting, while the rest of Nigeria they're not particularly our breadbasket. It's on that note that I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Your contributions will help us think further for the future of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.